What's going on, guys? Greg Ferris back here at Ferris Fitness, and forgive me if I'm a little rusty here because this is Sunday and my last session was actually Thursday, so it's been a while since I've actually looked at this footage, but wanted to review things for you guys here. So I did go to the fitness summit this weekend, met Alan, Aragon, Contreras, and all of them. Awesome time. I'll definitely review about that whole process sometime up this week, but again, so I had to mash all my training up into just 4 consecutive days. So on Monday here was the typical Monday for me, and this was my top set at 315 for 5, which, or sorry, 310 for 5, which felt pretty good. Pretty happy with my depth here. I knew this was going to be a challenge because I increased my numbers quite a bit. I think this is actually 30 pounds up from the previous week. So what I actually did after Monday and Tuesday, when my numbers were much higher than the previous week, I actually decreased them slightly a little bit. So I felt like week 2 was a little too easy and week 3 was a little too difficult. So I kind of put my numbers now at week 4 where I think I'll be at pretty good progress there. So I was happy with my squat nonetheless. And then my bench press, and this was a big lift that really made me consider, like, okay, this is too big of a jump, because this was a 20-pound jump on bench, and I was pretty damn close. But again, that's just looking at it from an objective point of view. 20 pounds on your bench in a week is a pretty damn big jump. So I believe actually this week maybe a 210 for 5, and then maybe 215 again. But nonetheless, it's not increasing, so this week should be lesser intense than it should have been. And then for my assistance work here, I just was kind of bored. I think I did some horizontal rowing and maybe like some RDLs or something, and then I just did like a max chin up. I think I got like 16, just for fun, really, at the end of my workout. It was either biceps or this, so I felt like I'd get a little more work in. But overall, Monday was pretty good, besides not hitting that bench. But again, I kind of checked my ego at the door for the rest of the week and adjusted my numbers. So second day here, so I squat again, and this was more of a back off day. I tried to get a few different angles here to kind of show you guys my foot positioning, since I got some questions about that. I said in my last video I try to keep my toes somewhat closed, and you see it in this angle really good here on my left foot. My foot's definitely not closed. That's not really what I meant. It's like a straightforward. What I mean is you just don't want to super compensate. Like you see right there, I made like a subtle adjustment, very subtle, about 10 to 20 degrees. You just want to make sure you're not literally having like a sumo deadlift kind of stance, and that way you can't use your entire leg. So the squats look really damn good here, actually. Of course, they're sub-maximal, so they're going to look good, but this is another pretty good angle here. A back angle, which I got on Thursday, I believe, showed me a big thing, that I was having some vagus collapse on my squat, so I definitely need to A, work on my form, and B, work on my glutes and probably some ankle flexibility and things like that I need to take care of. This was a 135 for 5 on OHP, and this was actually the same as it was the previous week, but this felt a lot better. This is definitely the lightest 135's ever felt for me. The last rep here was kind of grindy. I don't know why, because it felt pretty smooth, but really happy about OHP work. And then my big lift on this day really is the deadlift. And I believe this was 285 for the 5 build up. This was like right before my top set here. And the big problem I had with deads on this day was my grip. Otherwise than that, it felt really good. I'm pretty damn sure 325, which I pulled here, is a PR for 5 for me. I pulled 315 for a few, but I don't know if I've ever pulled 325 for 5 before. But again, the issue here wasn't necessarily strength. I felt really strong and really fast off the ground. It was just my grip, and if you watch my hands in these last few reps, you see it just kind of going. I even go over or under grip, so that's really bad. But I need to work on grip strength, and maybe even think about using hook grip once in a while, or getting used to that. But another thing I've found my deadlift, if you've been following me, is that my hips tend to shoot up pretty quickly. And the fitness summit is actually talking to Contreras and another man named Kyle Bohannon, and I asked Contreras, I said, what's kind of the common effect you see, like a little subtle change to do that? and he said you can just start with your hips higher. And I never really thought of that. It's really a simple thing to do. Is if anyone watches me sumo, I pull from a really low stance. It's almost like a squat. So I'm definitely going to play with that coming up on Wednesday when I deadlift again. I'll just keep my hips higher and see if that'll make me stronger. I'll definitely be using my hamstrings more as well. So then here's some assistance work on this day. I actually love doing this movement. I just never really have anyone in the gym with me because I train super early in the morning. So it's kind of, you can't really do it without a partner. It's pretty damn dangerous. But this is like a pause dumbbell floor press. I try to get like a 2 count on the ground. I talked about this in a previous video. I feel this on my chest quite a bit. You know, it's more of a tricep kind of movement, I would assume, because it's a dead stop. You're not getting a full range of motion. But with my limb length, that's pretty damn close to full range of motion anyways. And it helps me kind of take out, obviously, all the momentum. So definitely one of the most underrated movements I see people not doing. So definitely throw those in your routine if you give them a shot. And don't dump them like that with your shoulders flared out. Try to dump them better. And then some other assistance work I did, showing you guys something new here. The weight belt broke at my gym, so I've actually been using this fancy new machine where you kind of adjust the cables, and that uses that as resistance on the belt. So again, keeping it simple with all the assistance work, you know, pull-ups, horizontal rowing. Not a lot built that in the program, but again, my stuff is pretty basic. Try not to make it too complicated and take away all the fluff of my program for the most part. So after that, Wednesday, I just went with bench again and then upper body assistance. So this was a 185 bench for 5, and this would normally be my Saturday workout, my second bench day, but obviously, like I said, I mashed things up. So after adjusting my numbers, it actually came out to now just hitting 215 for a triple. So that was the adjustment that I made. So normally I would have tried to hit 220 for a 3, which I may have been able to hit, but like I said, that 215 for a 4 was kind of sketchy on Monday, so just decreased it. And even this felt a little grindy, which was surprising to me. I mean, this third rep here, I kind of got stuck and dude freaked out, but I hit it. But bench press should be interesting next week for sure. And then one of my main assistants, new movements anyways, was a pin lay row here. Kind of my new obsession with just everything barbell. I wanted to try these out. I've never been a fan of regular barbell rows, but again, a lot of people seem to be a fan of these pin lay rows because that momentum's taken out of the bottom. I felt these pretty good. You know, not quite as good as I typically feel like a one-arm row or seated cable row, but again, it's just assistance work, so I'm just playing around with it. It may be in there next week or this week or 2 weeks from now or not. It's not a big deal for me. I just like to experiment a little bit from exercises and see if I kind of hit a gold mine or not. And then my last workout of the week was squat. My third day of squatting, third time in 4 days. And I think I just got my top set here. And so this was actually 310 for a triple. So similar to the bench press, the intensity actually decreased from the previous day because I decreased my numbers quite a bit. So what actually happened is, as opposed to making that jump in weight, I just went with the same weight for a triple on each day. And these felt pretty good, but when I actually see them on film now, I'm not happy at all. If you see, I really focus on my negative of pressing my knees out, but then you see on my concentric part of the motion, my knees, bam, go in right there. It's not crazy, I'm still hitting the reps, but I definitely need to get shots from this angle more often because that needs to change. So whether that's getting my glutes stronger or just more repetition work or something, I need to figure that out because it's really going to limit me when I try to go to heavier and heavier weights. That's a big problem, is vagus collapse. So this was kind of not a back off set, but typically what I do is a set of 8 after my 3s. Do the same thing for bench press. So these felt pretty good, although I probably should have gotten these from the back as well to see if I was having that vagus collapse. So something I'm going to be looking out for. So I got a lot of good tips, a lot of good things coming for this week. I haven't looked at my numbers yet, so hopefully I have another good week of training. It'll be more normalized with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday routine. Things will probably change up after a while. I had a long discussion with Joy Victoria about training, but for now, I'm still doing Madcow. Those are my lifts, and I'll see you guys next week.